The last World Tournament came with a lot of small changes that made a big difference in how the event played out. So it seems like a good time for a review of some of the basic rules on how your score is calculated, and more importantly, how you can get the best performance possible. Number 1. Team cost matters. Even though it's usually not something that comes into play for the average player because it's unlikely they would have a group of units expensive enough to break the cost limit, the reason it matters is that it appears that the teams you are matched with in the tournament are paired based on total cost as a general means of trying to keep teams equally matched. Which leads to the second, and probably unsurprising point. 2. Character rarity matters. This probably seems like it goes without saying, because rare units are almost always better, but it actually has a bit more impact than just the obvious. Units with higher rarity have higher cost, which, as previously mentioned, makes you face more expensive teams. The reason why you want to do this, however, is that the rarity of a character affects how many points you get when knocking them out. So that an SSR is worth more than a rare, while an ultra rare is worth the most. It's important to mention that the ascended ultra rares like Brawly, Boo, and Cell currently still count as normal ultra rares and aren't worth extra points. But even so, because of their increased cost over standard ultra rares, having one will let you field a lower cost unit like an SSR without doing much to your chances of a strong pairing. Number 3. Type advantage. Optimally, you want to have the strongest types attacking each opposing character, like having your purple intelligence types hitting the opponent's green technique, or your red strength against their orange physical. Not only is this just good sense with the paper rock scissors mechanics of Dokkan Battle, but you get more points for a knockout when using a character against a type that's weak to it. Even so, there's no disadvantage if you have to knock out a character using a character that's less effective against who they're attacking. You'll still get as many points as if you were knocking out a character without any type interaction, strength or weakness. Also, remember that only knockouts give points, so if you know an effective character is next in rotation, you can use a weak attack that won't KO to set up the stronger character. Number 4. Alignment advantage. This is something that the game doesn't do the best job explaining, but there is a secondary strength and weakness system based on whether the characters fighting are heroes or villains in the story, or as the game calls them, super and extreme. How does this play out? Well, if you're familiar with Pokemon, it can be kind of like having two different types. You can run into an attack that hits only one of your weaknesses, both a weakness and a resistance, or both weaknesses. There doesn't seem to be any extra resistance effect for two characters of similar alignment facing each other, or if it is, it's minimal. But the point is that super characters take extra damage from extreme characters take extra damage from supers, and this is in addition to the effects of the color-based type system. Why this is important for the World Tournament is because it also interacts with the scoring system. If you knock out a character that does not have a type weakness, but does have an alignment weakness, then it's worth the full points of an advantaged KO. This also works with color type disadvantages. If your red strength Goku knocks out a blue agility Frieza, then it gets the better of the 2 point amounts, which in this case is the advantage KO total. However, you don't get extra points for a knockout with both a type and alignment weakness, just the points for a normal weakness KO. Super and Dokkan attacks. This is pretty easy. Super attack KOs are worth more points than a normal KO, both for advantaged and non-advantaged knockouts. This is what makes Broly teams so effective. Red Strength Broly Super usually knocks out the entire enemy team, and the points gained for all of them being Super KOs can make up a lot for a lack of type advantage. Not to mention the fact this also lets Broly advance through rounds much faster and do more with less time. For Dokkan attack KOs, even just hitting one enemy is worth it. Every KO from a Dokkan attack is worth double the points it would usually give. Number 6. The Rest. You get points for moving around on the board or hitting the bonus space in the first round, but it's not often worth going out of your way to do this instead of making sure CPU opponents don't fight each other and take away points you could be earning from them. You also get points for each key orb you get when attacking, 4 for the same color, 2 for rainbow, and 1 for the rest. But this is also mostly negligible, especially since who you're hitting with the attack, and if it's strong enough to take them out, is much more important. As for team building, it's not all that complicated really, unless you've been playing long enough to have the high-end rare characters to build a specialty team around, like one that focuses on nothing but making sure Broly can super with every attack. In that case, you're at a point well beyond what a basic guide like this can offer. For starters, however, you're going to want to make a rainbow team of your highest rarity, strongest characters, with the extra slot used for the strongest character left. A rainbow team, if you're unfamiliar, features one character of every color type, and it also helps if you have a good mix of both extreme and super characters, but that's less important than being able to hit every weakness. After that, you're going to want to try using as many links together as you can, so you'll start looking for higher rarity characters across multiple types that share effective bonuses. For most people, this starts off with a Super Saiyan team, not only because of fan interest, but because many of the Super Saiyan characters have multiple links that all work well with each other. The World Tournament really helps with this as well, because you'll get a handful of free Dragon Ball Saga tickets with each tournament just for participating. Many of these characters are pretty effective in their own right, but teamed together they get both powerful bonus key and bonus damage links, letting them use super attacks more often and effectively. Finally, though most everyone wants a unique character prize for each tournament, the one that's most easily attainable is the golden SSR ticket for 80 tournament wins. This can seem daunting, and is indeed a grind, but if you have the time, it's actually not that difficult to accomplish with little to no investment. And if you do reach that mark, odds are pretty good that your final rank will be good enough to get another one, as long as you don't just stop playing entirely until the tournament ends. I'll be up front. If your account level isn't high enough that you have at least 90 stamina, you're probably going to have to buy some dragon stones to get that far. Even then, don't be surprised if you'll also need to have a small supply of them going into the tournament. Regardless, the key to getting enough wins lies in all of the dragon stone rewards you get for advancing through the tournament. It may be tempting to spend them on whatever banner's running, but you'll get enough DB Saga tickets to scratch the gacha itch if it really gets to you. And since even a 50 stone summon doesn't normally guarantee an SSR, it's hard to justify the trade-off. It just can't be stressed enough what a time investment it is. Maybe not so bad you have to set your alarm to maximize your stamina usage, but if you don't want or aren't able to buy any extra stones needed to push you across the finish line, it can be a close call. And that's it. I know it can be a lot to take in, but it all quickly becomes second nature with a tournament or two under your belt. That doesn't mean none of this is subject to change. Part of why I made this guide was because the last tournament came with some major changes to damage calculations and other incidental mechanics that increased some of the challenge, but also led to a greatly revised reward table. The upcoming tournament is the 5th for Global, and while it looks like the revised reward structure is still in effect, if there are any other major changes, I'll try to post some kind of update, probably in the description text below. Until then, good luck, and please like, subscribe, share, and comment on this video or any others on the channel. I don't promise to be a pro at Dokkan Battle or anything else featured here, but I'll be glad to offer any feedback I can based on my own experience. I also want to take this opportunity to thank Varus of the Dokkan Battle Reddit community for providing the detailed, technical breakdown of the tournament point system that was the basis for this explanation video. Until next time, this has been Old Man Sinister, and I'll see you later.